really all about.
What we're here for.
What we're actually here for, yeah. So let's talk about this. Let's get cracking with this one.
Yes.
Probably one of my favourite
straight
additions.
into it.
Yeah.
Probably my favourite addition to any of the animation. I liked the E750.
Yeah.
However, I felt it got a bit shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it kind of, for me, the E750 felt a bit misplaced because we'd had it felt too much like a real hybrid that it almost felt like it should have come before Indominus and before Indoraptor. They seemed more of a progression than the E750.
So that's interesting because in the timeline it is before both of them. So the idea is that E750, the Scorpius, was what we made first and it went wrong. So that's why it was in cryo. So he made that, it went wrong, and then he made the Indominus after that.
Okay, but then it came out after, right?
Oh, yeah. So you're saying is in the actual order of the films, right? So
Yes.
you feel like we should.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's clear that it's something that they retroactively worked into it, which is why you don't get it in the right order, right? Because they probably thought we want to do a hybrid, but we can't say that the Indominus went wrong, and then they made another one. So we've got to find a way to do this that still places it before that moment in the timeline.
Or you don't, or pretend it don't exist if you don't class it as canon.
Yeah.
Which is always a lot easier. But yeah, no, I think this is very well done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a small, very, very small temper with the genetic code of no eyes, but it's heightened its other senses, which I think was brilliant. Because it also made the Atrociraptors more interesting as well because of the ability that it gave Red. So what was your first thoughts when you saw this?
I'm happy to jump in again.
I'll say that guest,
I genuinely, when I was watching the screeners, I sat down and kind of shouted at my screen at this point because I was like, that is actually so cool to see them doing something which almost feels very akin to some of the other franchise sort of elements that we've seen in other films. So when you look at things like Alien Romulus, for example, you have the whole sequence with the face huggers and the noise. If you look at Quiet Place, you have, again, noise with the Death Angels. So this whole idea that actually a lot of other films have done this, playing with other senses that aren't necessarily visual really, really well. And then Jurassic to do it in this fashion with a genetically augmented animal kind of really nicely builds on what you've had hints of before, because you get the Indoraptor in Fallen Kingdom using echolocation. So you kind of get a sense of, oh, maybe when they're experimenting with these genetics, these animals have got heightened senses in different capacities. But to get it fully, where you have this animal that just doesn't have eyes, is incredible. And I think that the cinematography.
Oh, he's gone. The cinematography.
Just keep
Tom, come back, Tom. Come back. No.
Oh, well, while waiting for Tom.
I think he was going to say the cinematography was great.
Yeah.
The way they played it. But we'll get to that back. Go on, Chris.
We're getting back. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, oh, not another white dinosaur. And they're just shoving this in for it to look like a bit of an Indominus. However, love it. Absolutely love this dino. And I think going to be a bold statement, but I think it's my favorite dinosaur they've added to the franchise since the original trilogy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a bold statement, but it's a good, it's a fair one.
Like, I really like it. I like what
they've done. Really well done
with the look of it. I like what they've done with, like you said, with the extra senses and being blind.
Yeah.
Like, really, really, really good. To the point where I actually put a wallpaper of it on my PC. Loved it. What I will say is I've also been watching Marvel's Daredevils. So it kind of went with that, with the extra senses and being blind. So yeah, really enjoyed this dinosaur. I hope we see it again at some point. I don't think we'll ever see it in a movie, but
no. But
let's see.
I don't believe it's alive anymore. Didn't they blow the factory up with it inside?
We didn't technically see it die though.
well, if you're going to go with that, then no, we didn't see it.
But yeah,
you got to believe that it did.
Yeah. But do you think this is the only dinosaur
that's been made like this?
That's been made like that? Like, I know that was
because I think it was this. It was this. Yeah, it was more like his pet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like that guy was a bit of a douche. He fed like the workers to it and everything. And
what did you think about the clicking?
I liked the clicking.
Did you?
I didn't think it was better than the whole Indominus and the raptors in Jurassic World. I didn't think it was better than that. You know, the bit when they're like
yeah,
each other, and then all of a sudden they're like.
But it did do that, didn't it? It did talk to the raptor later.
It
on.
did,
yeah.
But I think that it did it in a way that made it.
It was a bit more organic compared to the one in Jurassic.
Well, it was just mimicry, wasn't it? Like there's birds that do that. What bird is it called? There's a bird in Australia. I can't remember. It mimics. No. It's a. What's it called? Can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up. There's a bird in Australia that copies the sounds of the rainforest, and it copies like the sounds of phone shutters, like camera clickers, and chainsaws.
Yeah,
it's really, really. Well, Lyrebird, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
It's really, really, it's amazing, and some animals have that ability to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, there's no backstory as to what animals are part of this Triceratops that gives them that ability, but it just adds the intelligence level of them just being able to communicate. And I like the fact that it was trying to test out to see what it was, and it was like, then it went.
I like how they did the fake death as well of the doctor. When you think when it follows him into the black hole in the arena, and you think, oh, he's dead. Yes. And then he appears later on. That was a brilliant bit of storytelling.
Yeah, I actually thought he died then. That surprised me that he didn't.
Yeah. Well, I actually wrote in my notes, he dies, walks into the black hole and then dies. But I then had to delete it later on when he reappeared.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But really good dinosaur. I really liked it. I thought it was really scary as well for the kids to see something like that, especially when all the lights went out.
Yeah. No, it was a really good, and I like the fact the scene here with the crate as well. That was quite cool.
Well, now, tell me this: would you preferred them to show you, like when it all did go black and they turned the lights off? Would you prefer to see a view, a bit like Daredevil, where you can see what the dinosaur's seeing, like not in its eyes but in its senses?
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't say no to that. Almost like a echolocation.
That's kind of that's the only thing I think was missing from that scene that I would have liked to have seen, but I don't think it took away anything from it.
No, it didn't. It wasn't needed at all. Like it didn't. It wasn't needed at all to understand what was going on.
No.
Chris Eshu. Mike says, I enjoyed the coloration of the Suco with the anaconda patterning. Wasn't a fan of the Majungasaurus, but glad to see it was being included in the franchise. The Blind Barry was interesting, but I feel like this was heavily inspired by A Quiet Place.
Can see where it's coming from. It
Quiet Place is a good film, and I love it. So
yeah,
I'm happy with that.
I like the look of the Majungasaurus. I thought it was maybe a bit stocky, but I did enjoy it.
Massive. It was massively oversized.
Yeah.
Like
the actual physical look of it, like how it looked, I enjoyed. I just thought it was too bulky and too big.
Yeah, I think they should have. It should have been more of like the size of probably smaller than an Allosaurus. Actually, that made that look big. Allosaurus looked the size of an Allosaurus. Hey, he's back.
There he is.
Jurassic Horror
Hopefully.
says. Yeah, which you need dinosaur sent creature in Jurassic World Rebirth? Hybrid dinosaurs, mutant dinosaurs, or both? Neither, actually. Yeah. No mutants, no hybrids, normal dinosaurs that we like and we loved as kids. That's all I want. I don't need it. Dinosaurs are wow enough, as Owen said. I feel like Bumpy should have had some screen time. You know what? Bumpy wasn't missed. Bumpy wasn't missed.
Oh,
To be honest, Bumpy's egg got more screen time than Bumpy.
yeah.
Bumpy, he did. Indeed, you're right. Tom, you were saying about the cinematography.
Yes, so I was saying you can see it exactly in this screenshot. The fact that it really lingers on the idea that the eyes are just shadowed, so you kind of think there's going to be something there for ages, and then the eventual reveal when it steps into the light and you're like, oh, there's just nothing there whatsoever, was so cool. And I remember thinking I was really surprised that they'd done that in a show that was specifically made for younger fans. Like, I just thought that to be willing to do that in this show clearly showed that they wanted to be a lot more mature this time around, which was cool.
Yeah, definitely. So we get to see Red. Red is like this. We don't see any of the other Atrociraptors in this series, I don't believe. This seems. Oh, we do in one scene actually when they attack. When they attack Brooklyn. But Red is, ironically, this one was my favourite one of, you know, the promotional stuff for Dominion.
Yeah.
And we don't really get to see anything from Red at all in the film, other than it's normally mainly, is it Tiger?
Tiger and also
Tiger.
Ghost.
And Ghost. Ghost seems to be, they're the main ones, aren't they? Where they're chasing Chris Pratt. So
yeah,
it's good to see Red get some screen time, and it's cool that she's like Siona's pet, I guess, isn't she?
Yeah.
Is it she? I'm pretty sure it's she.
Yeah, Swerve will have something to say about that, because I know that they changed the gender of one of the Atrociraptors between Dominion and this, but I can't remember which one it was specifically.
I wouldn't have even noticed. To be, I don't know. And if someone go around the park and pull up with the Atrociraptors, I just think that the design of these and the behaviour, I think, has been it's been much better than the films. The films were just like loose cannons, weren't they? Just firing at all sorts of things and missing.
Yeah, I think these have been really aggressive, which has been quite cool to see. And I also like how Red really acts as like a guard dog, because I think that's just quite a cool way to reinforce the idea that Soyana actually has really close relationships with them, that she's willing to keep an animal like that sort of at arm's length at all times, sort of says a lot about her character as well.
I would have rather not seen the other Atrociraptors though. Because I feel that they was there for 2 seconds, then this one was here for the rest of the kind of season, if you like, as her pet, and the other ones just never appeared again. I would have rather than just explain saying, oh, the other Atrociraptors are somewhere else, this is mine.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, that would have been nice if they'd have done that, because it kind of would have made more sense of like, what about this one? What made her choose this one?
Yeah.
As the pet.
Would have been nice to have just a bit more backstory on it, but again, it's for kids, so they probably don't want to go too heavy on the backstory, but you know, it would have been nice.
Yeah, but these are the little details which really get the adults back on board though. But I mean, I am back on board, but I mean, like, these are the sort of things that make me think, oh, okay, like, it's helping me warm up to them. I still miss the wild aspect of the raptor rather than the trained. The trained raptors. I kind of, for me, it'd make more sense of them using a trained like a but smaller version, rather than something so big that, I don't know. I just
we might, to be fair, I think we're still going to get more information about the Atrocities. Like, I wouldn't, if we get a 3rd season, I would not be surprised if we see them all reunited and they explain where, like, the handler factors into the story, because obviously she's a different character, and a little bit more about that dynamic. I imagine they'd want to wrap that up. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to get a bit more insight into them as we go.
Whoa, Jack, he's in the house. How's it going, mate?
While we're on the Atrociraptors,
go on.
Obviously, one of them was the one that took Brooklyn's arm. Was that Ghost who did it?
Yes, it was Ghost.
Was it Ghost?
Yeah.
I've put in Ghost with a question mark. I couldn't remember which one did it, but yeah.
Ghost is pretty cool. Ghost had a really good scene in the last series.
Yeah.
With the big like close up running towards the screen. I thought
Yes.
it was excellent. Yeah,
I know
excellent shot.
we're still on dinosaurs there as well, but I've got a note in there to say that Brooklyn dyed her hair by accident. I thought that was quite a cool little thing that the purple went in there as an accident, and then later on she kind of got rid of it. I kind of like that. So yeah, I do like this Atrociraptor though. I'm glad they kind of kept it as kind of her pet all the way through it.
Now,
kind of
the interesting things going, I think we're going to get more Atrociraptors in season 3, right? I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about how we're going to get a lot more Siona. We're going to link this into the Malta now. I think that's where it's going to go, and we'll talk about that when we talk about season 3. But with this new movie, I'm really, I guess it's a concern purely down to continuity, really, that we're not going to get any sort of resolved story regarding Siona's character. Because I think we've got 2 series now of Chaos Theory, we're going to have a third. I don't know if there's going to be a 4th. I'm not sure whether we'll have the time between that and the new film. But I think we're going to need some sort of closure of her character somehow. I wonder if season 3 will stretch past Dominion or not. I don't know.
It won't. Scott's come out and said in an interview that Universal said that they can't go past the Dominion timeline. So I think we'll maybe get hints as to where she could have gone when she eluded the CIA. But apart from that, I don't think we'll get anything more than that. Which, I mean, to be fair, I don't have a problem with, because I think actually, if this show gives us a flavour of the kind of assets that this character has access to, then it's kind of fun to think that whatever happens in Rebirth, she might still be out there somewhere making more dinosaurs or doing something else.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I get that. As long because this new film's meant to have a time-year gap, isn't it? 5 years, and the dinosaurs are meant to be dying out. I don't know. That's a very that's the one thing that I've got hanging over my sort of worries is how they're going to handle this new Siona situation, because it was made with intent in Dominion, and I don't think they knew post Dominion they were going to go the way they've done it.
Yeah, no, I 100%.
I think if Dominion got a better reception, they would have carried on with the Kayla Watts storyline, they would have carried on with the Ramsey storyline, and I think they would have carried on with Siona's storyline, because and even the Maisie one when it comes to her, but because it was so sort of not received well.
They've got this in the bag, James. They did Dominion perfectly. They've got it in the bag. It's fine.
I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Next dinosaur, Monolithosaurus.
Yeah.
It's Monolithosaurus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the design of these, I did in Camp Cretaceous as well. Glad to see they're back. I thought they were quite good characters, actually, and a lot more ferocious than I thought they would be when I saw them.
Now, when you saw them, did you say that's a Monolithosaurus, or did you say, is it a Proceratosaurus?
No, I didn't say it's a Proceratosaurus.
Not a Proceratosaurus. What's the other one I'm thinking of?
Dino?
No. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. There was another dinosaur. When I thought of it, I was thinking that. Was James thinking?
No. Herrerasaurus. No,
because we had Monolithosaurus, didn't we, in Camp Cretaceous?
Yeah.
I think they look a lot better here.
Yeah, I think they do. But then I think that you think they've upped the visual.
So the model of these has always looked really good, because I remember I think in Evolution 2, I think they would have just used the asset from Camp Cretaceous, because when you look at the model in that game, it looks exactly like it does in the show, which says a lot about how good the model was in that show. I don't know why, but just those latter dinosaurs that were added just had a massive textural uplift. Yeah,
I think the dinosaurs and the visual effects in this series have been superb. They're as close. Looking at that, they're as close as to what CGI you're going to get in an animated show. I believe, anyway.
Yeah, no,
like the
100%.
more real life they look, the less animation it is. So it's
Yeah.
like you got to have some sort of element of it, haven't you?
It's balance,
Otherwise, then the people end up standing out as being like very generic compared to the wildlife. So it
Yeah.
seems, they've got to go and sort of go inside together. I like the behaviour of the Monolophosaurus. I like the fact that they're really just angry. They're almost like velociraptors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They kind of came across as velociraptors in Camp Cretaceous because we didn't really
Yeah.
get the raptors, did we? At all.
No.
It was all about the Indominus Rex, the T-Rex, and the herbivores a lot of the time.
Yeah,
And
I
we
think
had
didn't we
this,
get like a blue cameo in one episode?
yeah,
and that was
we
it?
saw some blue,
Yeah.
and we didn't really didn't see any of the raptor squads at all, other than that scene in the enclosure. And then after that,
Mhm.
obviously the timeline didn't work, so they wouldn't have been there. They'd been killed by the Indominus at that point. But the Monolophosaurus were kind of attacked the big high-rise building in the middle of Isla Nublar that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah.
Kenji's dad's place. Yeah.
Kenji's dad's place. And their behaviour was very Velociraptor, and which is great. But then I just think, why have they not just not used the Velociraptors? Like, why did they make a new dinosaur just to do that? The job of a Velociraptor.
I get that, but it's a cool dino to put in.
It is, and I was going to say I'm also glad that they've kind of kept it as in this era currently. The raptors we have are the Ibris raptors, and that's it. I quite like that there's not more just raptors out there, because I mean a lot of the theories about wild raptors and everything, and about raptors being on the mainland, etc. Yes, it appears in viral marketing, but to be fair, they did say in the creation of this show that when they weighed things up, if they wanted to do something that contradicted the marketing, they would do the thing that contradicted it, because in the grand scheme of things, the show sort of outbalances that. So I kind of get that in their perspective right now, from sort of creators of the shows and the movies, the Raptor Squad is probably the only Raptors that are on the table for them, and they know that they can't use them at this point because Blue's off doing her own thing with Beta, and the rest of them are char-grilled or dead on Isla Nublar, so they kind of have to use something else.
Yeah, short scene, but they were quite good scenes.
I don't understand why there were so many chickens about when them two was.
Yeah,
I know. Let's go on to this one, the new edition of the Majungasaurus. Love the design. I thought the scaling was a bit over the top, because the Majungasaurus is nowhere near as big as that. It's probably half that size, actually. About the size of a horse, probably maybe a slight bit bigger. And this thing was this is Allosaurus sized. So it was way over the top of how big it should be. But I liked what they did with it. I liked the fact that I loved the first episode. I liked the aggression level, and yeah, pretty cool.
It's interesting because I'm looking at a paleo chart around it, and it would only have been about 6 or 7 foot tall, but it would have been 18 to 23 feet in length. So it would definitely be a long boy, but just not quite as tall. But I guess the excuse they've got is these aren't actual dinosaurs, right? None of them are.
Yeah, of course there's that argument. But this is like one extreme to the other. It's just kind of, they needed to make a new dinosaur.
They needed something to feel that kind of T-Rex role, and that's sort of what it feels like it does in the show.
Making it dinosaurs since 1993.
Yeah, I really loved how they used this in the first episode. I know you touched on it earlier, Chris, but I thought that first episode with the rain, with the lightning, and then a massive animal just like stalking them was incredibly Jurassic Park, and I really enjoyed that.
That in that screenshot though, that doesn't look like it'd fit in that crate on the boat.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's just ridiculously oversized, but it's there's a cool shot here. Let me go on that. Hold on 1 second. God, what am I doing? What am I doing, James? Sort your life out, James. Oh my God. Right, where are we? I got. No, I haven't got it. I'll try and find it. But yeah, no, there was. I think the way they shot everything on that boat was excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the cinematography, the atmosphere, the just the tense, like different situations, was superb. And like there's a shot here, I found it. There we go. Where we go? Where is it? There, it's right at the front. Of course it is. That one.
Yeah.
That was a real good scene.
Like it built the tension. Like I knew something was going to happen, but I love the fact that he sniffed his phone and then just whacked the lettuces out of the way.
I think it is. I'm going to send you another shot as well, James, because it's quite interesting. Because in one of the shots, it doesn't look quite as big. So
See, with this shot, I was getting vibes of Fallen Kingdom when there was in front of the trike skull from the. Oh my God! I cannot think of what it's called. Indoraptor.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I think in that one it doesn't look nearly as big, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, that kind of looks a bit more realistically sized. Doesn't
Not too tall, but yeah.
But it's still. What do you think of this pattern? I think it's not a patch on the Suko.
No, I can't. Part of me wishes we'd seen it in daylight.
Yeah. Would it be like a brown and red stripes, or was it black? Because it always seems a black.
So I can grab, if you bear with me a second.
I think I would have preferred to have seen more of like a.
The figure they did
pattern
that's based on it is green. So it's green and it's got yellow stripes.
Have you got it there?
Yeah.
Because your screen's frozen. Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Hold on. Let me go on to.
So that.
How do I swap you into the main screen? There we go.
You can see it's green with yellow stripes on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, is that yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So I guess it's like a deep forest green.
Yeah. Although it could be that this is a different Majunga. We don't know that it's the same one on the boat
it could
as
be
in the forest.
There could be other ones.
Because there are, as we know, 2 Suchomimus throughout as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that. I like the addition to it. I think one season is enough of it though.
Yeah.
Like the same way they did what was that funny thing from the other series with a funny name?
Tarbosaurus?
Beckel,
yeah.
I'm glad that had one thing.
One go and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just shows, enough to sell toys, no story needed.
Yeah.
And then we've got this, which I think was the main star of the show, which I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
I love this Suko. Skin
this whole scene was excellent. I loved the
Yes.
addition. Like we can talk about the Africa setting, I guess can kind of coincide with this one. Like the fact that we got to see African animals.
Yeah.
With the lion, that was great. That was really cool.
Yeah.
The lion scene hunting was it Dimorphodon that it hunted?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the Majungasaurus then taking out the lion. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like the food chain effect.
Yeah.
And this scene here was great because ironically, this design of the Suchomimus is actually quite. It seems more. They've gone for more of a paleontologically accurate design, haven't they?
It's more accurate than the Isla Nublar website version,
and it's more accurate, I'd say, than the Baryonyx and the Spinosaurus.
Yeah,
it's the closest to its skeletal. Like. Don't get wrong, it's probably still got some exaggerated features, like its jaw and its facial structure is probably a little bit more broader than it should be.
Yeah.
But it's got the spiky teeth that the Spinosaurus. I can't talk. The Spinosaurids had. They had like fish spike teeth. They didn't have hook type teeth. And this can clearly see it. And then when it's got its mouth shut, you can see them sort of like sprayed out all over the shop. And I thought this was quite a good matchup. I'm not going to lie. I thought at one point I was thinking the hippo could probably do it here, you know. But obviously they're not going to make the hippo win in a dinosaur program, are they? But you know, in a realistic situation, I'm thinking that Suchomimus has got nowhere near the same bite force as the hippo. So, but it's cool. I like it. I like the fight that it had. I just thought I was just kind of glad that it held its own.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I think it was really cool getting more of that kind of natural ecosystem, because obviously that was hinted at the end of Fallen Kingdom with the sequence in San Diego Zoo. So kind of seeing a little bit more of that was really cool. And I think it just builds on what I was saying about sort of Aminata and Zaina as well, is you get a sense of normal people dealing with dinosaurs suddenly having a lot more prevalence in their environment, but you then also get a sense for actually how the broader ecosystem's been impacted. And I think that's something which, to be fair, the films haven't really touched on. So it's cool how, in my opinion, it feels like Chaos Theory is really taking the time to flesh out all of those sort of unintentional consequences of dinosaurs now being in the wild.
I love the fact that we actually see these animals like sort of actually meeting and being aggressive towards each other, because I always wondered what it'd be like to see who would win in a fight, you know, a pride of lions and a pack of raptors, sort of things like that. And this kind of, I guess, it doesn't give me everything I want, but it gives me, you know, enough to go, that was pretty cool. We've been wanting to see something like this for a long time.
I think it's that effect of leaving you wanting more as well, right? Because if we got like a different animal in every episode, then it would lose its charm. But they do just enough where you kind of think, yeah, this is cool to see this.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they got the nature of the hippo quite accurate as well, with the fact that it's just territorial and it just attacks everything that's in its territory. And the humans were just like, what are you doing in my water? Get out. And it just went mental. And I love that as well. And
I like also the Suko as well, just like, not just like having fights like this, but there was one point where it was just like having a kip for 5 minutes. Just like resting. Just stuff like that you don't see.
I'm glad that these two didn't say a little phrase of, this isn't about us. Like Alan Grant did. But yeah, no, let's just wrap up with this, talking about how the Africa setting. I thought it was beautiful, really well shot. I love the color palette, and I love the integration between the animals and the dinosaurs. You know, the current animals and the dinosaurs. Really well done. Lots of atmosphere. And I think.
Go on.
I was just to wrap my thoughts up, and I thought it was excellently done, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I liked how on the way down river as well, we saw those Pachyrhinosaurus and the Kentros. It was like coming through. That was like a nice touch.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think that led up to this scene, didn't it?
Yeah. I think the actual setting for Africa, they did a really good job of making the jungle feel different to Isla Nublar, because it would have been very easy to just reuse assets and kind of put it all across, but it felt distinctly different. And I think also I like how the laboratory here, and it's not really Africa per se, because I'm talking more about the lab environment, but I love how that feels so ramshackle and sort of makeshift. So you've seen like the top end of these labs with the InGen facilities on Isla Nublar, right? And now you're seeing the complete opposite end, which is somebody just doing dinosaurs in a makeshift facility that's underneath a farm. I just think that kind of contrast was quite cool here as well.
Absolutely. You can tell the difference in the budget, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Just that square shot of foliage was probably the entire Isla Nublar.
I even think the characters look better in this season.
Oh, the characters, the hair, everything.
Yeah.
Can you see Son now?
I can.
Anyway.